Welcome back. You're still watching Nile Cruise, dear viewers, here from the Muhammad Ali Tawfiq Pasha's palace in Baniel in the heart of Cairo. And with us now is General Dr. Ahmed Seliha, and he is a historic and archaeological researcher. Dr. Seliha, thank you for joining us on Nile Cruise and on Nile TV
My pleasure.
International.
It's my pleasure and honor.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Seliha, of course, it's always a pleasure to have you with us in our program. What is the beauty of visiting such a historic palace, and how do visitors feel, sir?
How do we?
Visitors feel.
Ah, okay. I would like first to talk about Prince Muhammad Ali.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh, he didn't marry over his wife unless she died. He and Abbas Helmi the second. And both, they were graduated from the German military academy. And they married German ladies, which inspired him, aspired him, and cooperated with him in his researches in the desert, in the botanic garden. We have here the second after Aswan's General Jordan botanic garden. The botanic garden here, I'm not specialist. You should have a specialist in the plantations, but that tree, for instance, is more than 2,000 years on that island. We have
2,000 years?
2,000 years. That scientists proved, because the French community was here for 15 years. Club Méditerranée, the Mediterranean club of the French. It's the most famous club in the world, which has branches in Florida, Miami, California, everywhere in the world. It started in the Mediterranean and branched out to the rest of the world. They proved that that botanic island garden is very unique. Second, he built the castle like Douvres and Calais castles. There are castles, citadels, fortunes, and fortified places, but this belongs, the gate here and there belongs exactly like the entrance of Muhammad Ali's citadel. It's like on the Calais and Douvres in France, and in England, architecture. It's the same. Even the gate with the architectural designs, it's like it only enable 3 lines of horses when he comes with his royal cavalcade, with the knights, the musketeers, the chevaliers. Everything is designed like the medieval period. So the French knew how the merit, the beauty of that palace, and they had 15 years here. Recently, till the mid-90s, from the 80s till mid-90s, they were having their club here, organizing all the tourist attractions, all the tourist attractions and that stuff.
Wonderful.
Okay, sir. Manial Palace was built, of course, by different standards. A century-old building might be a better long-term bet than its brand new counterpart. How do you see the cultural value of this palace, sir?
It seems that we have something from the medieval period, despite the time is less than that, but it seems we have the knights and cavaliers and the musketeers of England, France, Saladin al-Ayyubi, all that period of the march. It gives us that feeling exactly. And even if the camera went there, the road, the entrance, where the trees are embracing each other's, like an arc of victory,
Yes.
an arc of love between he and his wife. It's the only lung stayed here at the island of Manuel.
Dr. Saliha, what are the palaces, in your opinion, and your archaeological and historic researcher, tell us about some of the palaces that we have here in Egypt that you think are not getting enough attention, enough attraction, enough care for maintenance and restoration, and you think that if they are given this attention and care, they would attract a lot of people, whether foreigners or locals.
We have Muhammad's Ali Palace on the Nile in Shobra, Abdin Palace, which is not less than the Tuileries. It was a Tuileries of the Louis XVI, Louis XIV, Louis, and so on. Um, Here the garden also was organized like a small garden of the Tuileries in Paris, of the royal family. We have, of course, in Luxor is the third of the whole world museums and
Monuments.
monuments. It's the greatest in Luxor, the greatest museums in the whole world. Still, in
Open air
Alexandria,
museums.
it is buried under Alexandria. We have only 5 simple tourist attractions, 5 only in Alexandria. But Alexandria is buried under new, modern, contemporary Alexandria. We have a lot of palaces. Pharaonic period, Coptic, Greco-Roman period, Coptic period, in the Red Sea, and for Amba Antonius, Amba Paulus, and the Islamic period also, the palaces and that stuff. So we do not appreciate, unfortunately, too much our heritage, our legacy of the museums. We don't have enough propaganda about Abdin. The size of Abdin is more than the royal palace in the Tuileries. It's 1.5 space. It's very
The area is
spacious,
1.5
and
times.
it's
Yes.
full of all uh, monuments, adorated with all what's in the world. We have a palace in the Opera House which have paintings and Muhammad Mahmoud Khalil on the Nile near the Russian embassy. They have Degas, Cézanne, Claude Monet, Delacroix, all the Impressionist school and the Expressionist school. Modigliani, Matisse, Constable, all that, we have it in our museums.
Wonderful.
Okay, sir. What are the historic eras that left behind most palaces in Cairo?
Eras?
The historic eras.
I'm sorry.
The historic era
Era.
Yeah.
Yes. What's the historic era of what?
that left behind most palaces in Cairo.
Here.
Yes.
Um, Prince Muhammad Ali was a real prince among all the prince all over the world. He never married over his wife. He married after his death. He was a reader. He was a musician. He was an adventurer. He discovered a lot of safari and a lot of plantation. He was a figure of charisma. And he abdicated the throne. Never happened in life. Never. Because in England, he took over the throne and abdicated. But he abdicated before he take the throne. That's his merit and legacy and grandeur.
Indeed, indeed. Well, I guess on that note, Rana and dear viewers, there's no better note than to end it here. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have. We thank you very much, General Dr. Ahmed Seliha, the
My pleasure and honor.
archaeological researcher. It's always a pleasure to have you with us on Nile TV International.
My pleasure and honor.
And a pleasure to listen to you.
Please
sir.
tell me before, because they called me
Okay.
1 hour ago. I
We
have
will
to
always tell you,
prepare.
of course, sir.
This is
Thank you
all-
so much for being with us in today's
Thank you.
episode of Nile Cruise,
Thank
sir.
you so
It's always a
much.
pleasure, like Muhammad said, to have you with us. Muhammad, this was all for today's episode of Nile Cruise.
Right,
Thank you
Rana.
so much.
Thank you,
It was
Rana.
my pleasure to be joined with you
Pleasure
today.
is mine, Rana. Thank
Dear
you.
viewers, this is all for today's episode of Nile Cruise. Hope you've enjoyed being with us as much as we have. Of course, I was your host for today's episode, Rana Al-Khassas, and of course, my colleague Muhammad Abdurrahim. Muhammad,
Thank you, Rana. Thank you.
thank
to
you,
the
dear
viewers.
viewers.